Golden State Warriors fans, buckle up because things are getting tense in the Bay Area. Jonathan Kuminga's situation with the team is becoming one of the most talked about storylines this preseason, and it's not hard to see why. Even after signing that 2-year deal, reports say the relationship between Kuminga and the Warriors is still rocky. Now, it's only been about a week since that deal was signed, so of course, there's going to be some friction. There's still a little bit of hurt pride, maybe some frustration between Kuminga's camp and the front office. But that's normal when negotiations drag on and both sides have different visions for the future. What really matters now is how Kuminga channels that emotion on the court, because this could define his entire season. We saw flashes of what he's capable of in the preseason opener. Sure, it's just preseason, and nobody's handing out trophies for that, but he looked confident, explosive, and ready to make a statement. The Warriors need that version of Kuminga, the one who plays with something to prove. The question is whether Steve Kerr can find the right role for him and give him the minutes he deserves. If not, this tension could linger deep into the regular season, maybe even lead to some difficult decisions before the trade deadline. But for now, it's all about performance. Kuminga has a chance to silence the noise, and that starts with the next game against the Portland Trail Blazers. Let's be honest here, Portland is not a powerhouse right now. This is the kind of matchup where Kuminga can really shine. If he comes out aggressive, drops something like 25 points, dominates on both ends, and reminds everyone why he was a top draft pick, it sends a message to the Warriors organization. It tells them, hey, this is what you've got, and this is why I deserve a bigger role. It's not about proving the critics wrong anymore. It's about showing his own team that they can't afford to overlook him. Because once the regular season kicks in, every game counts and the clock starts ticking toward that key date, January 15th, when he becomes trade eligible. That's when things could really heat up. Now, if everything goes smoothly and Kuminga plays well, that could actually make things more complicated for Golden State. They'll have to decide whether to keep building around him or use his rising value as leverage to fill other roster gaps, especially at the center position where they're still a little thin. If he struggles or misses games, his trade value drops, and the Warriors lose a key piece of negotiating power. But if he explodes out of the gate and becomes a reliable scoring option, several teams will start calling, and those calls might get very interesting. Teams like the Miami Heat, Chicago Bulls, Phoenix Suns, and Sacramento Kings have already been linked to Kuminga in various rumors. Each one has its reasons for being interested. The Bulls, for instance, are sitting on several expiring contracts and might be willing to move a first-round pick for a young, athletic forward like him. It's the kind of deal that could make sense for both sides. The Warriors get some depth and future flexibility, while the Bulls get a piece they can build around long-term. Then there's Phoenix, who could revisit talks after reportedly offering a few second-rounders in the summer. The Suns are all in on trying to win now, and adding someone with Kuminga's energy could be exactly what they need to stay competitive in the West. But the most intriguing possibility might just be the Kings. If Sacramento's season starts to unravel, and there's a chance it might, they could look to shake things up by moving a big name like Sabonis. It sounds like a long shot, but it's not completely impossible. Sabonis would bring exactly what Golden State's missing: size, rebounding, and elite passing from the frontcourt. Imagine Sabonis paired with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. That's a nightmare for defenses. Meanwhile, Kuminga would go to a place where he could play bigger minutes and take on more offensive responsibility, which might be exactly what he's been craving. If you look at the Warriors roster right now, you can tell there's a balancing act happening. The team still has that championship core, but the window is not as wide open as it once was. Draymond Green is getting older, Klay's coming off another rehab-heavy offseason, and even though Steph is still playing at an elite level, time waits for no one. The Warriors have to decide whether they want to double down on winning now or start building a bridge to the future. And Kuminga sits right in the middle of that decision. If he turns into a consistent 20-point scorer who can defend multiple positions, he's the kind of player who can extend this dynasty. But if the chemistry just isn't there, he might be the key to bringing in someone who fits better. Of course, that doesn't mean the Warriors are eager to trade him. They invested years into his development, and the flashes of greatness are there. But the frustration seems mutual. Kuminga reportedly want a bigger role, more consistent minutes, and more trust from the coaching staff. That's understandable for a young player trying to prove himself. The Warriors, on the other hand, are built around veterans who demand structure and system play. So it's a delicate balance between giving him freedom and keeping the team's identity intact. If either side can't find that middle ground, it could lead to an inevitable split. One thing that might influence all this is how other young players perform, like Moses Moody and newcomer Quentin Post. Moody has shown potential but hasn't quite broken out yet, and Post, while still raw, could become a useful piece in the rotation if given time to develop. The Warriors are known for molding players into system fits, and that's what they're trying to do again this year. The front office sees the potential, but potential only takes you so far when the team's goal is to compete for a title. Speaking of Post, his performance in the preseason has quietly caught some attention. He's not dominant yet, but you can see flashes of something promising. A 7-footer who can stretch the floor, hit threes, and defend without fouling too much. He looked nervous in a few moments, sure, but that's normal for a rookie in this system. The more minutes he gets, the more comfortable he'll be. What's encouraging is the way he fits next to veterans like Al Horford. When those two shared the floor, the spacing looked smooth. Both can shoot from deep, both move the ball well, and it created a rhythm that the Warriors lacked last season when their offense sometimes felt cramped and predictable. If Steve Kerr leans into that spacing, it could open up everything for the rest of the lineup. Imagine Draymond sliding back to the 3 in certain lineups, acting more as a playmaker on the wing. That gives Curry and Thompson more room to operate while letting Horford and Post stretch the defense. It's an unconventional look, but it might just work, especially against slower teams. Of course, Draymond isn't the scorer he used to be, but his passing from that spot could be dangerous. You could see quick handoffs to Steph for those lightning-fast releases or drives to the rim that kick out to the corners for open threes. It's all about movement, timing, and rhythm, the things that made the Warriors' offense special in their prime. So the next preseason game against Portland is going to be more than just a tune-up. It's a test run for what the Warriors want to become this season. They'll need to see how these combinations work, how Kuminga responds to more responsibility, and how the younger players handle real pressure. It's not about the final score. It's about finding a formula that works before the season starts. Because once the regular season begins, there won't be much time to experiment. Every game, every possession, every rotation choice is going to matter. Right now, the Warriors are standing at a crossroads. They could either patch up things with Kuminga and unlock his full potential inside their system, or they could decide that it's time to make a bold move to strengthen the roster before it's too late. Either way, this situation isn't just about one player. It's about the identity of the franchise moving forward. And as much as this team loves to talk about chemistry and culture, winning is what fixes everything. If they start strong and rack up victories, all this noise about strained relationships will fade away fast. But if the losses pile up early, then January 15th might not just be another date on the calendar. It could be the day everything changes for the Golden State Warriors. As the season edges closer, the Golden State Warriors find themselves in a situation that feels both familiar and uncertain. The echoes of past dynasties still hang in the air, but the sense of invincibility is gone. Every move now feels like a gamble between preserving the legacy and building something new. And when it comes to Jonathan Kuminga, that gamble might define the entire year. His talent is undeniable, but talent alone doesn't guarantee a perfect fit. It's all about whether the Warriors system, led by Steve Kerr, can evolve enough to give him the freedom he needs to truly thrive. The truth is, Kuminga isn't a typical Warrior-style player. He's not a pure shooter or a motion offense specialist who thrives on constant ball movement. His game is built on athleticism, isolation drives, and physicality, elements that sometimes clash with Golden State's unselfish read-and-react approach. It's not that Kuminga can't adapt. It's that he's still trying to find that balance between being himself and being what the team needs. That tension was visible last season when his minutes fluctuated wildly, leaving him frustrated and questioning his role. Now, After signing his new deal, the expectations are clear. Prove you belong in this system or risk being the centerpiece of the next major trade. If the relationship stays strained, that trade possibility becomes more than just speculation. And the timing could be perfect for the Warriors to strike if they sense things aren't clicking. They've always been strategic with their moves, waiting for the right window to adjust the roster without compromising the core. January 15th is the first key date, but the real storm could come closer to the trade deadline when teams start panicking and overpaying to fix their weaknesses. That's where the Warriors could cash in, especially if Kuminga's value spikes early in the season. Looking around the league, there are plenty of potential trade partners who might be keeping a close eye on Golden State. The Bulls, for example, could use a young forward with Kuminga's athletic upside. They've been hovering in mediocrity for too long, and they have veterans with big contracts that don't fit their timeline anymore. Swapping one of those players along with a future first-round pick could make sense if the Warriors want more front-court strength or shooting depth. The Suns could circle back as well, especially if their current roster doesn't hold up under the pressure of competing with the top-tier Western Conference teams. Adding Kuminga's energy and defensive versatility could give them a much-needed spark. But perhaps the most fascinating scenario involves the Sacramento Kings. If their season goes sideways and their chemistry breaks down, they could consider moving Sabonis, a move that would completely reshape the Western Conference. Picture a Warriors lineup with Sabonis anchoring the paint, Steph Curry orchestrating from the perimeter, and Klay Thompson spacing the floor. The ball movement would be seamless, the inside-out offense deadly, and the rebounding issues immediately solved. On the flip side, Sacramento would get a young, dynamic forward in Kuminga to restart their timeline and keep their energy high for the future. It's a trade that, while risky for both sides, could redefine each franchise's direction. While the rumors swirl, the Warriors' real focus has to stay on internal growth. The preseason has already shown glimpses of what's working and what still needs time. One of the most encouraging developments is the chemistry between Al Horford and Quentin Post. That duo has quietly given the Warriors something they've been missing: size combined with shooting. Both bigs can stretch the floor, which opens up driving lanes for Curry and the wings. Post, even though he's young, plays with a natural feel for spacing. He looks more comfortable every time he steps on the floor, and the potential for him to grow into a steady rotation player is real. The challenge now is giving him enough minutes to develop without sacrificing the team's short-term rhythm. Before we continue, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Dubs updates. Let's keep going. Breaking news just landed in the NBA rumor mill, and it's already shaking the West Coast. Sources are buzzing that Myles Turner, the towering presence in the paint, is headed to the Golden State Warriors. If true, this move could mark a seismic shift in the Warriors' roster, finally addressing one of their most glaring weaknesses, the center position. For years, Golden State has relied on a small ball approach, with occasional experiments at the rim, but a true defensive anchor in the paint has been missing, until now. Imagine the possibilities. Turner, known for his shot-blocking prowess and versatile defensive instincts, would provide the Warriors with the rim protection they've desperately needed. Coupled with their deadly perimeter shooting and elite playmakers, the team could become an even more formidable force in the Western Conference. Fans have long joked about the hole in the paint when the Warriors faced larger, physical teams. Turner's arrival would essentially patch that hole, giving Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green a defensive partner who can contest shots, guard multiple positions, and alter games with sheer presence. Of course, nothing is official yet. These are still early reports, and the NBA rumor mill is notoriously fast and sometimes unreliable. But insiders claim talks have been intense, with both sides eager to make the deal happen before the trade deadline. Speculation suggests that the Warriors could be willing to part with a combination of draft picks and role players to secure Turner, a move that would signal their all-in mentality for the upcoming season. The timing is impeccable. With playoff aspirations looming and rival teams in the West strengthening their rosters, Adding Turner could instantly elevate Golden State from a team reliant on shooting and experience to a legitimate championship contender with a balanced lineup. Social media is already exploding with excitement, memes, and a flurry of debates. Fans are imagining the highlight reels, Turner swatting shots while Curry drains threes from the logo. Analysts are crunching numbers on defensive ratings and potential lineup combinations. And one thing is clear, if this rumor holds, the Warriors are about to look very different very quickly. In a league where one piece can redefine a franchise, Myles Turner and Golden State might just be that piece. Whether it's a done deal or an early whisper, the buzz alone is enough to make every NBA fan sit up and pay attention. Could this finally be the answer to Golden State's paint problem? Only time will tell, but the rumor has already ignited imaginations across the league. Stay updated exclusively with the latest Dub Nation news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep getting daily updates on the Warriors. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Your input is essential for the Dubs community. Stay tuned for the next video.